What is going on, everybody? I'm Jabby Kawhi, joined by ACHARA Kirk.
What's up?
Hardcore Final Fantasy fan right there.
Woohoo!
We're looking at Final Fantasy XVI Salvation launch trailer PS5 games. Thanks so much for joining us, you guys. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and bell icon, all notifications. Pretty please vote this up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Let's just jump into this. Here we go.
Oh, partial nudity. Oh, music?
The blind march is on. These people live with a knife to their throats.
You have to believe us. We'd help you if we could.
Oh.
But you're helping us already.
We never asked to be saved. Did you think we'd thank you? They'll never forgive us. We're all marked now.
Every time you show your faces, it is we who suffer.
Oh my gosh. Love the blade. Oh!
Sword sharp.
You'd better hope so.
Crystals take more than they give.
You mean to tell me that the mother are the reason the world is dying?
Whoa!
To hell with talking. If they won't give us a say, we'll decide our fates another way. Are you with me? You will pay for what you've done.
Why aren't you dead? You are but branded.
Tell me true. Do you believe what I'm about to do is wrong?
I was forced to kill. You do it by choice.
They don't believe in me. They believe in the power of the dominant.
You can't blame a man for wanting to bring an end to all this, can you?
Never led astray by your blind resolve. And thus is the light of hope severed. We don't need your salvation. We'll save ourselves, and we'll do it on our own terms.
Come to me, Ifrit!
Who are we? What are the dominants? We are but mighty acts of God.
Enough of this. I use my talents to my advantage. You would tell me there is shame in that?
We shared a dream!
I would be the king of the world!
Darkness has taken hold of you.
God, this is so epic.
I don't want to be a monster. Clive.
I have to stop him! I have to save them!
I made a promise to my friends, and it is they who will give me the strength to end your reign.
Whoa.
Your efforts will avail us naught. We fight, we survive, we endure. We don't need a reason.
This is moving so fast.
I got goosebumps. Goodness me. So, what's the name of that English actor that voiced that guy?
I was thinking Sean Bean.
It's him, Ralph Ineson.
Oh,
That's the dude.
That's the dude.
That's the
okay.
dude.
I really enjoyed that. You really, oversold me as a Final Fantasy fan. Like, I really enjoy Final Fantasy. It's probably one of my most favorite games to play just because it's a game that I can actually play a fair amount of before the skill level kind of kicks me out of the game. I'm not like super well versed in the lore. However, what I noticed with this one is like right off the bat, it kind of has a more older feel. Do you know what I mean? Because one of the cool things about Final Fantasy, or at least a lot of the games that I've played, which include like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, a lot of the older games, because obviously we're at 16 now and I played a little bit of 15. There's like a really cool fusion of like what feels old, like kind of ancient, like historical, like knights and dragons and whatnot. Medieval, sure. That's probably more accurate. But there's like a mixture of that with the magic, but then there's an element of like it being kind of modern as well, because often you'll have guns and other weapons like that you can equip with crystals and whatnot.
And magic.
And magic, yeah. So it's like this really interesting combination of a lot of different things, whereas this feels like they're really going back into the past.
It's like fantasy modern steampunk.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, but this doesn't really feel as steampunky. That's what I'm saying. It just feels like more straight fantasy, which I still really, really like. It feels really epic, especially when he called Ifrit. I was just like, oh my god, I'm all in.
Well, the way this game looks to me, it's almost like what I remember from Final Fantasy, like the early days, like Final Fantasy 1 and 2 for Super Nintendo and whatnot, like the old games. This is kind of how I would have imagined it kind of looks, you know? Just the insanity of it all, but with that medieval feel to it. It's more violent than I remember Final Fantasy generally being, but it's not so much that it's like off-putting.
Yeah.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons violent, but a little bit harder.
But like
a little bit edgier.
Like definitely more serious.
Yes.
You know, like everything is super high stakes.
Heightened.
Yeah, very heightened.
Yeah.
Like even with the choice of the voice actors, you know, like it gives you that kind of like rough around the edges medieval feel just because of the accents being more like Cockney or Estuary, where it's, you know, just a little bit more street as opposed to super posh.
Sure. I like Ralph Ineson as an actor, and I like his voice. I don't know that I would have chosen him for that particular character, but more power to him. Get that work, man. Make that cheddar. He's just like, you gotta make that money.
Get that money.
They tapped you for it. You go for it, man. I just personally wouldn't have picked him for that particular role from what I could see at a cursory glance. Maybe once I play the game, I'll feel different, but when I heard Kiefer Sutherland was playing Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5, I was like, that doesn't sound like a good idea, and then it just wasn't, and so I personally just forever disagree with that decision, but make that cheddar, you know. Kiefer Sutherland's gonna get paid, and he go for it, and so Ralph Ineson, all the same. I mean, he's a really talented dude. I like the overall style and vibe. I'm not a Final Fantasy person, but I did buy Final Fantasy VII just out of sheer curiosity, and I was enjoying what I had played of it. It felt a lot more updated than what I was used to with RPGs, traditionally speaking, in Final Fantasy in general, and I was enjoying that sort of modern take on the whole thing, and I look forward to finding some free time to play it some more.
No, do you know what the problem is? Like, I really love it, but like I said, I reach a cap and I got lost in the freaking underground. So can anyone help me?
Yeah, but I will say this though, while I disagree with that particular casting choice with the voices, the other voices here I thought they fit really well. And moreover, I think that the acting felt better for me with this than what I recall from Final Fantasy VII.
What?
Yeah, I think that's because it's in English. I think I'd rather play Final Fantasy VII in Japanese.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess I never really thought about that. I just get so immersed in the game and the story. And for me, what I really love about Final Fantasy as well is just like how beautiful the visuals are.
Absolutely.
Like, I just think they're so pretty. I just get so immersed in the world. I love when the characters just look so aesthetically pleasing as well. I'm like, oh, everyone's so beautiful. All of the fantasy elements in there as well. And like, you know, trying to figure out how to, you know, build my team, who's doing what. I'm like, I can play for hours and hours and hours.
No, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed this discussion and reaction. Do let us know your feelings in the comments below. Are you excited? What are you most excited for? Does this feel different enough for you from other Final Fantasy stories that you've already gotten? Because, you know, I always wonder, you know, one installment to the next, does this feel different enough from the last one that you played?
But the thing is,
but
like,
not so different that it doesn't feel like Final Fantasy.
Exactly.
You
It's
know
like
what I mean?
striking that balance between the two, where it's like, this very much feels familiar to me because this is like an IP that I really enjoy, but it's different enough that I'll spend the money and buy the game. I think I will.
You guys, thanks so much. I'm Jabby Kuwait. This is
ACHARA Cook.
Peace out.